The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with worried voices as representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for an emergency meeting. Ambassador Kethfer from the Zephyrian Alliance stood at the center podium, his insect-like body trembling with fear. His species had been watching the third planet in the Sol system for many years, and what they found made their blood run cold. "Fellow council members," Kethfer began, his voice translator turning his clicks into words everyone could understand. "We must talk about the humans on Earth. They are not what they seem to be." General Voxstar of the Dominion Empire floated. On his platform near the back of the hall, the massive creature with many tentacles glowed with bright colors that showed his anger and disbelief. His species ruled over 50 star systems and had crushed countless worlds. The idea that some primitive planet could be dangerous made him laugh. "You want us to fear a backward species that can barely leave their own world?" Voxstar asked, his voice booming through the hall. "They still fight with chemical rockets and metal bullets. What possible threat could they be to the mighty Dominion?" Kethfer's mandibles clicked nervously as he pulled up holographic displays showing Earth. The images showed a blue-green world torn by wars, pollution, and countless problems. Humans fought each other over resources, argued about their climate, and seemed unable to work together on anything important. "This is exactly what they want us to see," Kethfer said, pointing at the displays. "But our deep scans tell a different story. Beneath their cities, we detect massive tunnel systems that go down for miles. Their orbital space is filled with what looks like debris. But our best sensors suggest these objects are actually hidden weapons platforms. Most disturbing of all, we have detected energy signatures that should not exist on a world of their supposed technology level." Many council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The Zephyrians were known for their excellent intelligence gathering. If they were worried, perhaps there was reason to listen. Meanwhile, far below the surface of Earth, in a facility buried deep under the Rocky Mountains, Colonel Jake Murphy studied incoming data from sensors hidden throughout the solar system. His team had been tracking alien probes for months, carefully allowing them to see exactly what humanity wanted them to see. "General Hayes, we have another Dominion scout ship entering the outer system," Murphy reported to his superior. "Should we activate the deception protocols?" General Lisa Hayes smiled as she looked at the tactical displays surrounding her command center. Above them, the people of Earth went about their daily lives, completely unaware of the vast military complex hidden beneath their feet. "Let them see our fake transmissions, Jake. Make sure they pick up plenty of arguments between nations, some economic troubles, and maybe a few environmental disasters. You want them to think we're weak and divided." "Yes, ma'am," Murphy replied, typing commands into his console. Within minutes, carefully crafted radio and television signals began broadcasting into space, painting a picture of a world in chaos. Meanwhile, the real military communications traveled through quantum channels that no alien technology could detect. Hayes walked over to a massive window that looked out into an underground cavern stretching for miles in every direction. Thousands of technicians worked on weapons and ships that incorporated technology far beyond what any alien species possessed. Humanity had been preparing for this day for 70 years, ever since they first detected alien signals from deep space. In the council chambers, Kethfer continued his desperate warning. "Their military history shows patterns unlike any species we have encountered. Humans do not simply fight to win battles. They fight to completely destroy their enemy's ability to ever threaten them again. They call this total war, and they have been perfecting these tactics for thousands of years." The ambassador activated another holographic display showing human conflicts throughout history. "Look at their World War II. When attacked, they did not just defend themselves. They built weapons that could destroy entire cities with single bombs. They constructed the largest military-industrial complex in their history in just 4 years. They invaded their enemies' homelands and occupied them completely. This is not the behavior of a peaceful species." General Voxstar's tentacles writhed with amusement. "Those were primitive weapons using simple nuclear fission. Our shields can easily deflect such crude devices." "That is where you are wrong," Kethfer said, his voice growing more urgent. "Our analysis suggests they have been hiding their true capabilities for decades. The energy readings we detect indicate they possess antimatter technology. Their gravitational sensors suggest they have mastered space-time manipulation. Most terrifying of all, we believe they have been studying us. This last statement caused an uproar in the council chambers. The idea that a primitive species had been gathering intelligence on advanced civilizations seemed impossible. Kethfer raised his voice above the noise. For the past 50 years, dozens of scout ships from various species have entered their system. Very few have returned, and those that did reported equipment malfunctions and memory gaps. We believe the humans have been capturing our technology and reverse engineering it. They may know more about our capabilities than we know about theirs. On Earth, Dr. Rachel Kim reviewed files in a laboratory filled with alien artifacts. Her team had been studying captured technology for decades, improving upon it and adapting it for human use. The aliens who built these devices were advanced, but they followed predictable patterns in their engineering. Humans, shaped by millions of years of evolutionary pressure, approached problems differently. The Dominion shields operate on a rotating frequency pattern, she explained to her research team. But they have a fundamental weakness: the frequency. Rotation follows a mathematical sequence that we can predict and counter. Our new plasma rifles are specifically designed to exploit this flaw. General Hayes received a priority message from the Intelligence Division. Ma'am, the Galactic Council is voting on the Dominion's proposal to invade Earth. The Zephyrians are trying to warn them, but it looks like the vote will pass. Good Hayes replied calmly. How long until our off-world colonies are ready? Mars facilities are fully operational, ma'am. The asteroid belt mining stations are actually weapons platforms in disguise. Our ships hidden in the outer system? Report ready status. The trap is set. In the council chambers, the vote was called. Despite Kethfer's passionate warnings, the Dominion's political influence proved too strong. Species after species voted to approve the conquest of Earth, believing they would share in the spoils of a quick victory. Kethfer made one final plea. Please, I beg you to reconsider. These humans are apex predators disguised as peaceful explorers. Their entire planet is a trap waiting to be sprung. They have survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, and countless extinction events. They have turned every threat into an opportunity to become stronger. If you attack their homeworld, you will discover why they are the only species in their system to achieve intelligence. They eliminated all competition, but the decision was made. General Voxstar, bioluminescent. Patches flashed with triumph as he received authorization to proceed with the invasion. The Dominion thanks the Council for this opportunity. Earth's resources will be distributed fairly among all member species once we have pacified the primitive inhabitants. As the Council session ended, Kethfer remained at his podium, watching as representatives filed out to prepare for what they believed would be an easy conquest. He had done everything possible to warn them, but pride and greed had overcome wisdom. Far below Earth's surface, General Hayes received confirmation that the invasion fleet was being assembled. All personnel, this is General Hayes. Operation Mousetrap is now active. After 70 years of preparation, we are about to show the galaxy what happens when someone threatens humanity's home. Remember, we are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting to ensure that no alien species ever makes the mistake of underestimating humans again. The trap was set, and the prey was coming. The Dominion battle fleet materialized at the edge of the Sol system in a display of overwhelming force that had terrified countless worlds before Earth. 300 massive warships emerged from hyperspace, their dark hulls bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Admiral Zorkith commanded the fleet from his flagship, the Inevitable Conquest, confident that the primitive humans would surrender the moment they detected his armada. Deploy the scanner drones immediately, Zorkith ordered his tactical officer. I want complete intelligence on their pathetic defenses before we begin the invasion. These humans should provide little resistance, but the Dominion does not take chances. The sleek reconnaissance drones swept toward the inner system, their advanced sensors probing every corner of human space. What they found confirmed everything the Dominion expected to see. Earth orbited peacefully around its yellow star, surrounded by a handful of primitive space stations and a scattered collection of military satellites that looked like toys compared to Dominion technology. The planet itself appeared to be in chaos. Radio and television transmissions showed humans arguing about climate change, fighting wars over resources, and struggling with economic problems. Their military forces looked primitive and divided. Nuclear weapons that used simple fission, aircraft that still required air to fly, and ground vehicles that moved on wheels instead of anti-gravity systems. 3 miles beneath the Nevada desert, Lieutenant Colonel Amy Chen watched the alien scout drones through sensors so advanced they could count the rivets on alien hulls without being detected. Her facility was one of hundreds hidden beneath Earth's surface, all connected by tunnels that stretched across continents. They are taking the bait perfectly. Chen reported to the Joint Chiefs through quantum communication systems that operated outside normal space-time. The scanner drones are seeing exactly what we programmed them to see. Our holographic projectors are working flawlessly. The massive displays around her showed the real situation in the Sol system. What the aliens thought was empty space actually contained over 800 human warships, their hulls coated with adaptive camouflage that made them invisible to conventional sensors. Orbital battle stations the size of cities hid behind false exteriors that looked like abandoned space junk. The moon itself had been hollowed out, converted into a fortress that could survive direct hits from planet-killing weapons. Admiral Steve Morrison commanded the hidden human fleet from his flagship, the UES Defiance, concealed within an asteroid that had been carefully hollowed out and filled with the most advanced technology humanity had ever created. His ships were scattered throughout the system, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to spring their trap. "Remember the plan, people," Morrison broadcast to his captains on secure channels. "We let them get close. We let them think they are winning. We let them land their troops and begin their invasion. Only when they are fully committed do we reveal what humanity is really capable of." The Dominion fleet advanced slowly, their confidence growing with every sensor sweep. Admiral Zorkith studied the tactical displays with satisfaction. The humans were mobilizing their primitive fleet, but the numbers were laughably small. Perhaps 200 vessels, most of them converted cargo ships and patrol craft that looked like they belonged in a museum. "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, "we are detecting approximately 50 million human military personnel on the planet's surface. Their weapons appear to be projectile-based with some primitive energy systems. Our battle armor should provide complete protection against their attacks." Zorkis' tentacles writhed with amusement. Throughout his career, he had conquered dozens of worlds, but none had been this easy. Begin the invasion sequence. Deploy ground forces to all major continents. I want this planet pacified within one rotation. What the Dominion could not detect were the 10 billion humans waiting in underground cities that had been carved from solid rock over the past 70 years. These hidden populations lived and worked in vast subterranean complexes, connected by transport systems that could move armies across continents and ours. Every man, woman, and child had been trained in combat operations from an early age. The human ships that the aliens dismissed as converted cargo vessels were actually the most advanced troop transports ever built. Their hulls contained armor that could withstand direct hits from Dominion plasma cannons. Inside, elite soldiers waited in powered suits that enhanced their strength, speed, and reflexes beyond the limits of normal biology. Captain Lisa Parker reviewed her mission briefing one final time as her transport approached Earth's atmosphere. Her Special Forces team had spent 20 years training for this moment, studying every piece of alien technology that human intelligence had managed to acquire. They knew exactly how Dominion battlesuits operated, precisely where their weaknesses could be found, and exactly what weapons would penetrate their defenses. "Listen up, people," Parker told her soldiers as their ship entered the upper atmosphere. "Intelligence reports that the Dominion ground forces are equipped with personal shields that can deflect most energy weapons. However, our new plasma rifles operate on frequencies specifically designed to disrupt their shield generators. Aim for center mass and fire in 3-round bursts." The Dominion landing craft descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling meteors, their passengers eager to begin the conquest. General Voxstar himself led the primary assault force, choosing to land in the North American continent where human resistance was expected to be strongest. His troops were the elite of the Dominion military, veterans of 100 conquered worlds. Major Tony Rodriguez watched from his concealed position as the first wave of alien transports touched down in the farmlands outside Kansas City. His artillery units had been dug into positions throughout the region, their weapons hidden beneath holographic camouflage that made them invisible from above. "All units, hold your fire," Rodriguez whispered into his communication system. "Let them establish their beachhead. We want them to feel confident and secure before we show them what human hospitality really looks like." The alien troops emerged from their landing craft with casual arrogance, their energy weapons powered down, their attention focused on the distant cities rather than the apparently empty countryside around them. They had no idea that human snipers were watching every movement through scopes that could track targets from impossible distances. Dr. Rachel Kim monitored the invasion from her laboratory deep beneath the Pentagon. Around her, technicians made final adjustments to weapons that had been designed specifically to counter Dominion technology. Humanity had spent decades studying their enemies, learning their weaknesses, and preparing for this exact scenario. "The alien battlesuits have 3 critical vulnerabilities," she explained to her staff. "Their power systems can be overloaded by electromagnetic pulses at specific frequencies. Their joint mechanisms can be disabled by projectiles that expand after impact. Most importantly, their helmet systems fail catastrophically when exposed to certain types of sonic weapons." Meanwhile, the Dominion forces advanced across Earth's surface, meeting exactly the level of resistance their intelligence had predicted. Human military units fought bravely but seemed hopelessly outmatched. Tanks that exploded when hit by alien energy weapons. Aircraft that fell from the sky when targeted by Dominion fighters. Infantry that retreated in disorder when faced with superior alien technology. What the invaders did not realize was that every retreat was carefully planned. Every destroyed human unit was actually a decoy filled with remote-controlled drones. The real human forces remained hidden, waiting for the signal to emerge from their concealment and show the galaxy what Earth's children were truly capable of. Admiral Zorkith received reports from the surface with growing satisfaction. "Excellent progress," he told his staff. "Human resistance is collapsing faster than projected. Their primitive weapons are no match for Dominion technology. We should have complete control of the planet within 2 rotations." High above Earth, the hidden human fleet waited with predatory patience. Every alien movement was tracked by sensors that operated on principles the Dominion had never encountered. Every communication was intercepted and decoded by computers that processed information faster than biological minds could comprehend. The trap was nearly ready to spring. Humanity had waited 70 years for this moment, and they would not waste the opportunity. Soon the galaxy would learn why humans were the only intelligent species to evolve on Earth, and why every other potential competitor had vanished from the fossil record millions of years ago. The Dominion ground invasion began at sunrise across 6 continents, with massive dropships descending through Earth's atmosphere like dark angels of conquest. Their shields easily deflected the desperate missile attacks from human surface forces, just as their intelligence had predicted. General Voxstar personally led the primary assault on North America, confident that his elite troops would crush the primitive resistance within hours. The first wave of Dominion soldiers emerged from their transports onto what appeared to be empty farmland in Kansas. Their battlesuits gleamed in the morning sun, energy weapons humming with power, personal shields shimmering around their bodies. These were veterans of dozens of conquered worlds, and they moved with the casual confidence of predators who had never encountered serious opposition. Major Tony Rodriguez crouched in his camouflaged bunker 2 miles away, watching through advanced optics as the aliens established their beachhead. His artillery crews waited in silence, their weapons trained on predetermined coordinates that had been calculated months in advance. Just like the war games, Rodriguez whispered into his quantum communicator, "They are setting up exactly where our analysts predicted they would." The Dominion follows standard military doctrine to the letter. The aliens' early success seemed total. Their energy weapons vaporized human tanks with single shots. Their personal shields deflected conventional bullets and explosive shells. Their powered armor allowed them to leap incredible distances and punch through concrete walls. Within the first hour, they had pushed human defenders back toward major population centers, meeting exactly the resistance their intelligence had suggested they would face. What they failed to notice was that they were being herded. Captain Lisa Parker lay concealed in the ruins of downtown Denver with her special operations team, watching Dominion forces advance down the main street. The aliens moved in textbook formation, their weapons ready, but not fully powered. Their attention focused on the buildings ahead rather than the seemingly empty rubble around them. All units, this is command, came the encrypted transmission that only human equipment could receive. Execute Phase 2. Time to introduce ourselves properly. Parker smiled grimly as she activated her combat suit's true capabilities. The armor that had appeared primitive and clunky suddenly revealed its real nature as one of the most advanced pieces of technology ever created. Synthetic muscle fibers amplified her strength to superhuman levels. Sensor systems gave her perfect awareness of everything within a mile radius. Her rifle, disguised as a conventional projectile weapon, hummed to life as its plasma generation systems came online. "Ladies and gentlemen," she whispered to her team, "let's show these invaders what human hospitality looks like." The transformation was instantaneous and devastating. All across Earth, human soldiers emerged from hiding places that should have been impossible to conceal anything in. They rose from sewers, burst through building walls, erupted from underground tunnels, and even climbed out of specially prepared graves and cemeteries. Their equipment shed its primitive camouflage to reveal weapons that made Dominion technology look ancient. The first human soldier, General Voxstar, saw moving at inhuman speed appeared to be running directly at a Dominion energy cannon. The alien crew laughed as they prepared to vaporize the foolish primitive. But their laughter died when the human's plasma rifle cut through their battlesuit like paper. The soldier moved faster than Dominion reflexes could follow, his power armor allowing him to leap 30 feet and land behind their position before they could react. Impossible. Voxstar breathed as reports flooded in from across the battlefield. Their weapons are penetrating our shields. How can primitives possess technology superior to ours? The answer was terrifying in its simplicity. Humanity had been studying Dominion technology for 70 years. Ever since the first alien probe had been captured and reverse-engineered, every shield frequency, every armor composition, every tactical doctrine had been analyzed and countered. The humans had not just learned to match alien technology, they had surpassed it. Lieutenant Ben Morris led his squad through the streets of Los Angeles, his enhanced senses tracking Dominion units through walls and around corners. His soldiers moved with perfect coordination, their communication systems allowing them to share tactical information at the speed of thought. "Target confirmed," Morris reported as his sensors detected a Dominion heavy weapons team setting up on a rooftop, 3 blocks away, engaging with precision strike. The human weapon that destroyed the alien position operated on principles that Dominion science barely understood. It fired projectiles that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making conventional shields useless. The aliens' advanced armor provided no protection against munitions that could adjust their properties in real time to penetrate any defense. Across the globe, similar scenes played out on every continent. Human forces that had appeared hopelessly outmatched suddenly revealed themselves to be the most advanced military ever assembled. They fought with weapons designed specifically to counter Dominion advantages. They moved with coordination that suggested they had been preparing for this exact battle for decades. Dr. Rachel Kim monitored the engagement from her command center beneath the Pentagon, watching as every prediction her team had made proved accurate. "Alien communication frequencies are being jammed by our quantum disruptors," she reported to General Hayes. "Their tactical coordination is breaking down as predicted." The Dominion forces found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to know their every move before they made it. Human soldiers appeared exactly where they would cause the most damage. Human weapons struck precisely where alien defenses were weakest. Human tactics exploited every flaw in Dominion. Terry Doctrine. Admiral Zorkith watched in growing horror from his flagship as his ground forces were systematically destroyed by an enemy that should not have been able to challenge them. Is this possible? He demanded of his intelligence chief. Our scans showed primitive weapons and divided military forces. Sir, the intelligence officer's voice trembled with fear. We are detecting energy signatures that suggest the humans possess antimatter technology. Their communication systems operate on quantum principles we do not understand. Most disturbing of all, their weapons appear to have been designed specifically to counter our equipment. The truth was even worse than the Dominion realized. Every piece of alien technology that had entered the Sol system over the past 70 years had been studied, analyzed, and improved upon. Human scientists had not just learned how alien systems worked, they had discovered ways to make them work better. Colonel Jake Murphy coordinated the global defense from his facility in Colorado, watching as phase after phase of the human plan unfolded perfectly. Orbital Command, this is ground control, he transmitted to Admiral Morrison's hidden fleet. Surface forces have engaged successfully. All Dominion ground units are contained within predetermined zones. You are cleared to begin space operations. High above Earth, the human fleet began to move. Ships that had been hidden for months started their engines, their adaptive camouflage falling away to reveal hulls that gleamed with advanced armor and bristled with weapons that operated on principles the Dominion had never encountered. General Voxstar received the final, most terrifying report of the invasion. Sir, we are detecting massive human fleet movements throughout the system. The primitive spacecraft we observed were decoys. They possess vessels that rival our own in size and exceed our technology by factors we cannot calculate. The Dominion general's bioluminescent patches flickered with fear as he realized the magnitude of their mistake. The humans had not just been hiding their military capabilities, they had been actively cultivating the appearance of weakness while building forces, specifically designed to annihilate any species foolish enough to threaten their world. Ambassador Kethfer's warnings echoed in his mind like a death sentence. The humans were not primitives to be conquered. They were apex predators who had turned their entire civilization into a trap, and the Dominion had walked directly into it. The battle for Earth was about to enter its final phase, and the aliens were beginning to understand that they were not the hunters in this encounter. They were the prey. The tide of battle turned within the first 3 hours of real combat. Across every continent, Dominion forces found themselves surrounded, outgunned, completely outmaneuvered by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive savages. General Voxstar's command center erupted in chaos as desperate reports streamed in from his scattered units. General, the human weapons are disrupting our shields at the quantum level, screamed his tactical officer. Our armor provides no protection against their new projectiles. Sir, they are jamming our communications using technology we have never encountered, added his intelligence chief. Our units cannot coordinate their movements. The orbital fleet is requesting immediate support, reported his communications. Officer, human warships are appearing throughout the system like ghosts materializing from empty space. Admiral Steve Morrison's voice echoed across the hidden human fleet's command network as ships throughout the solar system dropped their camouflage and revealed their true nature. All vessels, this is Admiral Morrison aboard the UES Defiance. Operation Mousetrap is now fully active. Show these invaders what happens when they threaten humanity's home. The Dominion fleet suddenly found themselves surrounded by vessels that should not have existed. Human ships emerged from asteroid fields where they had waited for months, rose from the atmospheres of gas giants where they had been hiding, and decloaked from positions behind moons where they had remained motionless for years. The alien sensors screamed warnings as they detected energy signatures that defied their understanding of human capabilities. On the flagship Inevitable Conquest, Admiral Zorkith stared at his tactical displays in complete disbelief. This cannot be possible, he whispered. Our intelligence showed they possessed fewer than 50 military vessels in their entire system. Sir, his tactical officer's voice was barely audible. I am reading over 800 human combat ships. Their energy signatures indicate antimatter propulsion systems and weapons that operate beyond our theoretical understanding. Human salvo lit up space like the birth of a new star. Antimatter torpedoes that could crack moons struck Dominion shields with the force of stellar explosions. Quantum disruption missiles phased through conventional defenses as if they did not exist. Kinetic bombardment rounds accelerated 2 significant fractions of light. Speed turned even the largest alien vessels into expanding clouds of superheated plasma. The Dominion flagship shields had withstood the combined firepower of entire enemy fleets in previous campaigns, lasted exactly 17 seconds against human weapons specifically designed to counter their technology. Admiral Zorkith felt the deck plates buckle beneath his feet as his mighty vessel died around him, back on Earth. Colonel Jake Murphy coordinated the surface offensive from his command bunker deep beneath the Colorado mountains, all surface. Commanders, the gloves are coming off, he announced on secure channels. Activate sleeping giant protocols immediately. Across the planet, the landscape itself seemed to come alive with hidden weapons. Mountains split open along carefully concealed, seems to reveal massive defense installations that had been carved from solid rock over decades. Lakes and rivers drained through hidden channels to expose military bases that had been constructed beneath their waters. Even city streets retracted on concealed mechanisms to allow enormous artillery pieces to rise from underground. Dr. Rachel Kim watched the transformation from her laboratory with deep 70 years of preparation, she said to her assistant. We studied every piece of alien technology we could acquire through covert operations. We learned their tactics from intercepted communications and observed battles. We analyzed their biology from tissue samples left by their scouts and spies. Lieutenant Ben Morris nodded as he watched the tactical displays. And we designed every weapon, every defense, every strategy, specifically to counter their advantages while exploiting their weaknesses. The Dominion ground forces found themselves fighting an enemy that anticipated their every move with supernatural accuracy. Human soldiers appeared in locations that should have been impossible to reach, using weapons that seemed to violate the basic laws of physics. Human aircraft moved in ways that suggested they understood Dominion flight patterns better than the aliens themselves. General Voxtar's final command post came under attack from human forces that emerged from the Earth, itself like vengeful spirits. Captain Lisa Parker led the assault, her powered armor allowing her to move faster than alien reflexes could track, while her weapons cut through their defenses like a hot knife through ice. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to the laws of war, Parker announced through her suit's external speakers. Continue fighting and discover why humans are the only intelligent species to survive on Earth. The alien general's bioluminescent patches flickered with terror as he realized the truth behind her words. Every other potential competitor for intelligence on Earth had vanished from the fossil record millions of years ago, eliminated by ancestors of the creatures now surrounding his position. In space, the Dominion fleet was being systematically destroyed by human vessels that fought with precision that bordered on prescience. Admiral Morrison coordinated the battle from his flagship, his tactical displays showing the complete collapse of alien resistance. Focus fire on their command ships, Morrison ordered his captains. Leave their troop transports intact, but disable their weapons and engines. We want prisoners for intelligence gathering, not martyrs for their cause. The human weapons that struck Dominion vessels operated on principles that alien science had never encountered. Some fired projectiles that existed in multiple dimensions, simultaneously making shields useless. Others generated gravitational fields that crushed enemy hulls from within. The most terrifying launched nanoscale machines that invaded alien systems, turned their own technology against them. Dr. Kim received real-time analysis of the battle from sensors throughout the system. The alien tactical responses are following patterns we predicted with 97% accuracy, she reported to General Hayes. Their command structure is breaking down exactly as our psychological profiles suggested it would. The Dominion had based their invasion plans on the assumption that humans were a typical primitive species that could be overwhelmed by superior technology and numbers. They had never encountered a civilization that had spent its entire evolutionary history as both predator and prey. Shaped by millions of years of struggle against extinction events that would have destroyed most other species, General Hayes addressed the Joint Chiefs from the Pentagon's deepest levels. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dominion invasion has been repelled with minimal human casualties. However, our intelligence indicates they were only the first wave of a larger conquest fleet. We are implementing Phase 3 operations to ensure this threat is eliminated permanently. Phase 3 was something no alien species had anticipated. Human fleets that had been positioned throughout local space for decades began converging on Dominion colonies and military installations. The species that had dismissed Earth as a primitive backwater suddenly found their own worlds under attack by forces they had never known existed. Major Tony Rodriguez led the assault on a Dominion supply depot hidden in an asteroid field, his ships appearing from hyperspace with perfect coordination. "Remember, people, we are not conquerors," he reminded his crews. "We are exterminators dealing with a species that threatened to destroy our home." The Dominion Supreme Council received reports that shattered their understanding of reality. Human forces had struck 17 of their worlds simultaneously, using tactics that suggested decades of preparation and intelligence gathering. Every attack targeted critical infrastructure with surgical precision while avoiding civilian populations whenever possible. "How many ships do these humans possess?" Supreme Commander Thraxer demanded of his intelligence staff. Based on engagement reports from across our territory, at least 10,000 combat vessels, his aide replied with a trembling voice. "Possibly many more. Their industrial capacity appears to span multiple star systems." The truth was even more staggering. Humanity had been building their military forces for 70 years. It's hidden in asteroid bases, gas giant facilities, and deep space construction yards that had never appeared on any alien sensor sweep. They had created an industrial complex that could build fleets faster than most species could count them, Ambassador. Gethfer addressed an emergency session of the Galactic Council, his warnings finally receiving the attention they deserved, too late to matter. "The humans call it strategic deception on a civilizational scale," he explained to the terrified representatives. "They allowed us to see exactly what we expected to see while building the most advanced military force in this region of the galaxy." The revelation that would haunt alien civilizations for generations was simple and terrifying. Humanity had not just been hiding their capabilities, they had been actively preparing for war against specific enemies for decades. Every weapon, every ship, every strategy had been designed with one purpose: to ensure that any species foolish enough to threaten Earth would never have the opportunity to threaten anyone ever again. The battle for Earth ended after exactly 18 hours and 47 minutes of real combat. When the smoke cleared and the last Dominion weapon fell silent, the once mighty invasion fleet existed only as debris scattered across the solar system like metallic snow. Of the 50,000 elite troops that had landed on Earth's surface with absolute confidence in their victory, fewer than 3,000 survived to become prisoners of war. Admiral Steve Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching as human salvage crews began the methodical process of collecting alien technology and survivors. "Secure all prisoners for detailed intelligence gathering," he ordered his captains. "Begin Phase 3 operations immediately. We're taking this war to them before they can recover and regroup." Phase 3 represented something the Dominion had never anticipated in their worst strategic nightmares. Human fleets that had been concealed throughout local space for decades began emerging from hiding and converging on Dominion worlds. The species that had dismissed Earth as a primitive backwater suddenly found their own colonies under assault by forces they never knew existed. General Lisa Hayes addressed the United Earth Defense Council from the Pentagon's most secure briefing room. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Dominion invasion of our homeworld has been completely repelled. However, our intelligence analysis indicates they were only the advance force of a much larger conquest fleet. We are implementing immediate preemptive strikes to ensure this threat is eliminated before it can threaten Earth again. President Catherine Walsh, one of the few civilian leaders who had been briefed on humanity's true military capabilities, gave her authorization for the next phase of operations. Do whatever is necessary to protect our species, General.
Owl!
The galaxy needs to understand that Earth is not prey to be hunted. The message was delivered in the most direct way possible. Human task forces struck 23 Dominion worlds simultaneously, using the same devastating tactics that had proven so effective in defending a soul. Each attack began with the appearance of overwhelming human superiority where the aliens expected to find empty space. On the Dominion colony world of Kethmer, Governor Zultek watched in horror as human warships materialized from what his sensors had sworn was empty space. How is this possible? He demanded of his military advisor. There were no ships in this system an hour ago. The human vessels moved with precision that spoke of months of preparation and intelligence gathering. They struck military installations with surgical accuracy while carefully avoiding civilian populations. Their weapons operated on principles that Dominion science could barely comprehend. Penetrating shields and armor that had protected alien worlds for centuries, Captain Lisa Parker led the ground assault on the Dominion Military Command Center, her powered armor allowing her to move through their defenses like a force of nature. "Attention, Dominion personnel," she announced through external speakers. "Surrender immediately, and you will be treated according to the laws of war. Resist, and discover why humans are considered apex predators by every species that is studied our evolution." The truth behind her words was more terrifying than any threat. Humanity had spent millions of years evolving as both hunter and hunted, shaped by ice ages, asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, and countless other extinction events. They had learned not just to survive, but to turn every threat into an opportunity to become stronger and more dangerous. On the Dominion homeworld, Supreme Commander Thraxer received reports that defied all logical comprehension. "How many warships do these humans actually possess?" he asked his intelligence chief. "Based on engagement data from across our territory, we estimate at least 15,000 combat vessels," came the reply. "However, sir, they're industrial. Signatures suggest they can build ships faster than we can count them." The reality was even more staggering than Dominion analysts could imagine. Humanity had been constructing their military forces for 70 years in hidden facilities throughout dozens of star systems. Asteroid belt mining operations that were actually weapons factories, gas giant atmospheric processors that were really shipyards, deep space research stations that were actually strategic command centers. Dr. Rachel Kim monitored the Galactic offensive from her command center, watching as human forces dismantled Dominion military capabilities with methodical efficiency. "The psychological impact is exactly what we predicted," she reported to the Joint Chiefs. "Alien species throughout the region are beginning to understand that humanity is not a primitive civilization to be conquered." Lieutenant Colonel Amy Chen coordinated intelligence operations from her facility beneath the Nevada desert. "Sir, we are receiving surrender offers from 17 Dominion worlds," she reported to Admiral Morrison. "They are requesting immediate ceasefire negotiations." "Negative," Morrison replied without hesitation. "Continue operations until all Dominion military forces have been neutralized. We are not just fighting to win this war, we are fighting to ensure no alien species ever makes the mistake of threatening Earth again." The Dominion's final desperate gambit came when Supreme Commander Thraxer activated their ultimate weapon, a planet killer vessel capable of cracking worlds in half. The massive ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its commanders confident that the threat of Earth's destruction would force human surrender. They never had the opportunity to issue their ultimatum. The planet killer was intercepted by a human fleet that had been waiting specifically for this moment. Positioned along every possible approach route to Earth, Admiral Morrison's voice carried across subspace. As the alien superweapon died in a blaze of antimatter, "Fire. Did you really believe we had not prepared for that possibility as well?" Morrison asked the galaxy. "Humanity has been planning for this war longer than your species has possessed spaceflight. Major Tony Rodriguez led the final assault on the Dominion Military Academy, where their best generals had gathered for a last desperate stand. "Surrender now, and help us build a better galaxy," he offered through his suit's communication system. "Continue fighting and join the countless other species that underestimated human determination." Within 6 months of the initial invasion attempt, the Dominion Empire had completely collapsed. Their surviving worlds sued for peace, offering reparations and total surrender to avoid further human retaliation. The species that had once planned to enslave humanity now found themselves at the mercy of the primitives they had dismissed. Colonel Jake Murphy, promoted to ambassador after the war, addressed the reformed Galactic Council from Earth's new embassy. "Station. The Terran Defense Force stands ready to assist any species facing existential threats," he announced to the assembled delegates. "However, let this serve as a permanent reminder that Earth is humanity's home. We have spent millions of years learning to protect it from every threat the universe could devise." He paused, his gaze settling on the few remaining Dominion representatives. "Anyone who threatens our world will discover that humans do not simply fight to achieve victory. We fight to ensure the threat never has the opportunity to rise again." The galaxy had learned its lesson about the species from Sol 3. Ambassador Kethver's warnings, ignored for so long, were now required reading in every military academy across known space. The Zephyrian Alliance published detailed studies of human military doctrine, psychological profiles, and technological capabilities as a warning to future generations. Dr. Rachel Kim established the Institute for Galactic Peace on the rebuilt Dominion homeworld, teaching alien species about human history and the evolutionary pressures that had shaped humanity into what they had become. "Understanding is the key to peace," she explained to her first class of alien students. "We do not wish to be conquerors, but we will never again allow ourselves to be seen as prey." 5 years after the failed invasion, Earth had become the unofficial capital of a new galactic alliance based on mutual respect rather than conquest. Human technology, shared freely with peaceful species, had revolutionized medicine, agriculture, and space travel throughout the region. General Hayes, now retired, walked through the memorial gardens built above the former Pentagon bunkers. The names of every human who died defending Earth were carved in stone, along with a simple inscription: "They died so that humanity might live free among the stars." The memorial's final wall contained Ambassador Kethver's original warning too: "The Galactic Council, preserved for future generations, do not go to Earth. It is a trap." Below those words, a human addition: "The Dominion did not listen. Out. Let their fate serve as a reminder that Earth's children will protect their home against any threat, no matter how powerful or advanced. We are humanity, and we do not forgive. Those who threaten our world." The galaxy had learned to respect the species that had turned their entire civilization into a weapon of ultimate defense. The humans had revealed themselves not as conquerors, seeking to dominate others, but as guardians who would protect the innocent and punish the aggressive with equal determination. The warning had been given. The trap had been sprung. Now the galaxy knew the true nature of the species from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, and why they had earned their place among the stars through strength.